Okay.
Okay.
We could probably go ahead and apply the stone if you
All
want to
right.
see that.
Sure, that's what I'm anxious to see.
Well, this material is very thick in its own self, so you need to stir it up.
Oh, it's really thick.
Isn't it? I mean, you can see how heavy that is. And a lot of times when I'm on a job, I'll use an electric mixer, a drill with an attachment on it, and I'll mix it up with a drill. And it gets a little creamier when you do that. But you can also mix it with a stir stick if you want. But now what I'll do too is then on a job, I will take, this is a 6-inch broad knife, and this is a 12-inch. A lot of drywall guys use these, but I'll use these as my working tools, and I'll take that stone out, and I'll put it onto that knife. And then that allows me to carry it over to my wall.
Okay.
And then I can take the texture, and I'll let you do this in a second too, but what you want to do to start with, now this would, on a job I would have this all taped out.
Yes, of course, but for demo purposes,
Right.
we're just...
So I take that now, and I want to take that and skim right over that surface area, and it goes right over the tape and everything. The tape is acting as a shield to protect our grout area.
Okay.
So I take that, and I'll keep skimming it. And once it's on there, then I come in and I'll put, and I would go over again an area that might be 2 foot by 3 foot.
Okay.
And then I'll come in and I'll create the texture by adding more dimensional material.
Okay, so you're just lightening up on
The
the
pressure.
actually edge of the...
You want to try?
Yeah.
And what you do is it's sort of like icing a hot cake, where you sort of layer it on. You don't push on that texture coat.
Now, is it okay to go in different directions? like I'm doing?
Absolutely. Stone has many variations to it. So again, you, as the artist, are creating that variation in the depth of the material. You can do thinner material, you can do thicker material. And some areas, as in real stone, has thinner quality and some is much thicker.
Now, what about pulls like that? Is that okay? It just kind of creates a different dimension, or no?
Exactly. Well, what I do is I'll come through and I'll knock that down a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
And that, to me, has a little bit more of a dimensional feel of a stone. Whereas if I would just have it come in, you know, like that, then that is more of a drywall texture.
Okay.
So I want to create stone, so I'll just come like that.
Probably be a good idea, before anybody attempted this at home, was to do this on some practice boards.
Yeah, it's an excellent way to do it.
Okay.
And then if I were doing it again on a big space and I had a lot of room, I would come and find that tab that I had, and I pull it down, and it pulls my tape out, and you can see that then exposes my grout.
Oh, okay.
And you want to pull this tape while it's wet.
I was just going to ask you when we had to do that.
Oh, because if you don't, it's really hard. It does dry just like its name, as hard as stone, and it's hard to get up later on.
Okay, so once you pull off the rest of your tape, what is our next step?
Okay. Well, one real quick thing on the tape. What I do is I try to get that to be like pudding, in the way where it gets a skim to it, but it's still soft underneath. That's when you pull the tape up.
Oh, okay.
So it works
That's
real
a great
well.
tip.
And it usually takes like 20 minutes to an hour before you can do that.
Okay, so you don't want to work with too large of a surface to where you'd overwhelm yourself.
Exactly. Maybe do one wall and then pull the tape on that wall and then go to the next wall and do your texture and go on from there.
Okay.
Okay, the next thing now, again, we were talking about how this is like stone, but it's also very flexible. Watch how this will move. It's breeze,
wow.
wonderful. It's not like drywall, but look at that. I'm almost bending that in half, and it's
not
not
cracking or
popping off.
anything.
It doesn't
That's
crack.
great.
So it's great for high moisture areas.
Okay.
So now what you want to do is go ahead and put our color into the material. I'm sorry.
No, messy projects are my favorite. Who are you kidding?
If we want to pull that over real quick, I'll put some of the stone in.
This here?
And if you hand those colors to me, I will end up putting, whoops, I'm making them. You love messy projects, we're doing them.
Those are my favorite, though. It's
So
like the little kid in me. Loves to get dirty.
So what you want to do is you want to add a little bit of color, and you can make up any color combinations that you want. I'm using a little black, a little earth brown. And then what we'll do is make one with a little bit of more green, and then I'll have a little yellow and a little earth brown together, and I'll mix those up.
Okay.
And then what you want to do, this will go right into the material. This is aqua cream, and it's very water soluble. I will mist this real quickly with
So
a little...
after this is dry, then you're going to come back, you're going to mist your wall after you have your paints ready.
Yes.
Okay.
You make up your paints in the colors of your choices, and then basically you just take it and brush it into the stone. And you can create different patterns and colors by the way you apply those colors themselves.
Okay.
Would you like to do a little?
I would love to.
So just, you want to blend them wet into wet.
Not left-handed here. Get some more in there. I'm going to give that one back to you and let
Okay.
you come in here with me.
If we
Okay.
can take the rag real quick, I'll show you how to blend it out.
There you go.
So you just take that and then you just softly blend that out.
Okay, and get that out of the way so everyone can see.
And you can see it already starts to create
Oh, okay.
a dimensional texture and depth to it. And again, you can use any color combinations that you want. You can create you want a different contrast between one stone and another. So they vary greatly. And then you just wipe it down. And you keep building up that color and playing
I was
with
going
it.
to say, I think you could probably spend all day on coloring them, couldn't you?
You can. You can spend a long time playing with the color, but if I get this close to what I want, then I will come in with a little shadow, and I will shadow the edges of this, and I will create some depth and dimensionality by using a little flat shader to shadow that. So then you come in that way,
Okay, I was just going to ask you, we're not going to leave that definite line. So then you
Right.
come back in and blend that in as well.
and then you soften it down, and if you look here on this finished piece, you can see where I've shadowed it, and then you can even drop in a little liner brush with a drop shadow line,
Okay.
which even adds more dimension, and then take a piece of sandpaper, and you can sand off the tops.
That's how you got, is that how you got this white
That's how
look?
the white came in, is I took a piece of sandpaper, and we just sanded that down with the sandpaper, and it really brings it right up.
Okay, and you can do this lighter, I mean, you could allow more pressure or less pressure.
Exactly.
As opposed to
so
how
if
much
I
of the
want
white you
more
want
of the
to show
white to
through.
come through, I sand harder, and if I want less white, I only do it in a little bit of areas.
All right.
So, you know, by doing all these steps and creating more and more, it just creates tremendous dimension.
Thanks, Gary. This
Thank
has been
you.
wonderful.